Hi guys, I'm PUTSY. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video, and in today's video I'm going to talk about my favorite TBR. So if you go to my channel and look, the last video I posted is actually my January TBR, which was really bad. I posted that basically at the start of February. I know that's my fault because I had to settle back into everything and I had quite a hard time mentally and emotionally coming here, and yeah, I was just not in a good state of being in the first and the second half, basically the whole January actually. Besides my birthday, the rest of it was kind of bad. And it's also peak summer, it's very hot, and yeah, I was just trying to exist and live. Like if I wake up in the morning, that's already a good thing. If I do anything at all, it's a good thing. So editing was a bit of a struggle. So by the time I edit all the things I pre-filmed back when I was still in Indonesia, it's already at the end of January. Yeah, I pre-filmed a lot of stuff when I was still in Indonesia, and I just really don't want them go to waste, which is why I still edit them even though it's already been so late. Also, the reason why I still post that January TBR is because I actually really like what I did in that video, the prompt that I use, which I'm gonna talk about more when we get to it. But first of all, I just want to say sorry if you can hear a lot of noises from outside. I opened the door here so I have more fresh air because it's really hot and stifling inside. I cannot stand any more of this heat. It's peak summer and I just want it to end. Basically, I hate summer. I'm probably one of the only few people on earth who hate summer, maybe, but I just don't like the heat. Yeah, I don't like it. Anyway, I'm glad for the sun, I just don't like the heat. But yeah, I promise I will try my best to do better and to get on top of things and post more on time and not let them be really late like the last time. But anyway, you'll see this at the start of February. I'm pretty sure I will make sure of that. And now we're going to talk about all the books that I will choose for my February TBR. And if you watch that video, I have chosen 5 books. 5 is, I feel like, a good amount of books. For me, it will help me a bit more accountable with my reading, so I want to read more books. I know I don't have to read more than 3 books a month. I don't even have to read, but I just really want to read a lot of books, and I feel like 5 will kind of force me to read more. But also, if I don't manage to read all of the 5 books, even if I only read through 2 or 3 books, it's still somehow like close to 50% or around 50% of them, and that still counts as a success for me. If I read 2 books out of 8 books, that's only like 20-25%, and I probably will blame myself and be negative about it, so I don't want to do that. So I feel like 5 is a good amount, so there's something for me to aim, but also it still gives me a bit of a room for me to be more spontaneous. And if I do want to read depending on my mood, I still can do that without feeling guilty if I don't read all the 5 books that I have on this list. And also in that January TBR video, I also mentioned all the prompts that I used to choose all the 5 different books. So basically there are 5 books, but I also chose them based on 5 different prompt or category. The first one is based on my physical TBR, basically all the books that I have physically back in Indonesia. I don't have any of my books physically here. I still have a couple of them here, but most of my books, like 95% of my books, are back home in Indonesia in my old bedroom. I list everything when I was there, so I know every single book that I've read that I haven't, and it's kind of embarrassing to find out that I only read like maybe 55 or 65% of them. I still have hundreds of books that I haven't read based on my physical TBR, and I want to change that. I want to be better at that. I'm going into a book buying ban in 2025 and focusing myself on trying to read as many books as possible based on the books that I already own. So that's the first goal. And for my second book is based on my 2025 TBR. I make a video of 25 books I want to read in 2025. I posted that I think a couple of weeks ago. I will also link that video down below. I have 25 books, but more like 25 titles or slash series. So technically I have more than 50 books maybe, because some of the series have more than 3 books each, and yeah, I don't know why I do that, but technically 25 different titles or series, and I want to make sure I read at least half of them. So I thought, maybe make sure I put that in my monthly list. I will at least reach half of them. So yeah, second one is based on my 2025 TBR. The third one is based on my most anticipated releases. I also post a video of my most anticipated releases in 2025, more like in the first half of 2025. I mentioned all the books that I'm interested in monthly based on each month. So for my January TBR, I chose books from my January anticipated releases. For February, I will choose from my February most anticipated releases. That's just to ensure that I also read new books instead of just old books or books that I already own, because I also just really want to keep up with the new and the old, because if I don't read them now, I will just always continue to put them in my yearly TBR and probably not read them. So I just want to make sure that I read the old, new, and everything in between. The fourth one is based on my Kindle Unlimited. So on Kindle Unlimited, basically you can borrow up until 20 books all at once. My list is always full. I always borrow 20 books all at once. It's never less than that. Every time I return a book, I always immediately borrow something new. And I want to change that, because I end up with always reading the new book that I just borrowed, and then the rest of them, it's just been sitting there for years. Like half of the books on my Kindle Unlimited list is the book that I borrowed years ago and I haven't even touched them. I want to change that. I want to make sure that I read every single one of the books there and empty my Kindle Unlimited list before I borrow something new. So yeah, I want to make sure that I do that by putting that in my monthly TBR. And the next one is audiobook, because I also want to read every kind of books, physical, audio, from library, Kindle Unlimited. I want to read everything, every kind of books. Yeah, so yeah, I also put audiobook in here. It can be from Everend or slash, it used to be Script, or from my Libby or something like that. It can be from anywhere, but just audiobook. So yeah, those are the 5 different lists or prompts that I use to choose my monthly TBR. I think I will keep that prompt for every single month in 2025 to keep up with everything that I want to read this year. But I think every single month I will try to differentiate how I chose every single book from every single prompt. I think last month I used a random wheel generator that I found online for every single prompt. So for example, for physical TBR, I look up all the books that I own that I haven't read, choose randomly like 20 or 25 of them, put them in on the website on the wheel generator, and then I click choose, and it will randomly choose a book for me, and that will get into my monthly TBR. Same with the 2025 TBR, new releases, and Kindle Unlimited. The only one that I chose personally was the one from audiobook, I think, or maybe I chose also randomly. I don't know, but I used the random wheel generator. But for this month, I thought I will do something a little bit different. I will still use the random wheel generator for my new releases and Kindle Unlimited prompt, but for my physical TBR and 2025 TBR, I thought it will be fun to choose whatever available in my local libraries, which is why I put in the title my library chose my TBR for the month, because as you all know, library don't always have the books you're looking for. Sometimes it's unavailable because everyone else is borrowing it. Sometimes you have to put a hold for a few months, for a few weeks before it's available for you. And that's what I usually do. I just put a hold on books either directly to my local library or through Libby, because I have few different libraries in there, and borrow them digitally. But for this month specifically, I just want to go and peruse around the library myself and check out whatever available there. If they are also on my list, then I will borrow them. So here's the footage of me peruse around the library and try to find out what's my next read is. as you can see, I actually borrowed 3 books, but one of them I'm not gonna put in my monthly TBR because it's like an added bonus. I actually have finished reading that book, have returned it because it's a graphic novel. The 3rd volume in the series, I read the first 2 last month in January, and yeah, that's just an added bonus. But I managed to pick up 2, found 2 books that I have on my list, and I've been wanting to read these books for so long. I'm glad I was able to find it because it wasn't available the past couple of months. I was perused around the library, so I'm so glad for that. So let's just get into all the books for my monthly TBR. So the first book for my favorite TBR is based on my physical TBR. It's The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I've been wanting to read this book since it came out. Basically, a lot of people raved about this book, especially when it first came out. I think either 2021 or 2022. I believe it's 2021. So, or maybe even 2022. I don't know. I actually bought this book at that time. I was so excited for it. I wasn't able to find it anywhere in my local bookstore at that time, so I ordered it off of Book Depository. That's how long it's been, because now it's not a thing anymore, which I'm still very sad about because I love ordering books from Book Depository because it's usually hard to order books to Indonesia, and Book Depository is one of the few websites that is more accessible for me at that time. So I ordered it. And I think because we were just coming out of the COVID time, things haven't been back to normal fully. So the shipping was very, very slow, but it was really, really slow. Like it's been 6 months and the book hasn't arrived. So I contacted the customer service of Book Depository asking where my book is, how's the shipment, how long it's gonna take. But because it's been 6 months, it's more than the usual amount of time that they listed on their website. So they actually offer me 2 choices, if I want a full return or if I want them to send another copy. So I said to them I want another copy because I really want to read the book. And apparently I think the first copy was held somewhere, I don't know where, but a month after that, or actually maybe it was 3 weeks after that, I received 2 packages full of the same books, the books that I complain about. So I have 2 copies of a couple of books, and this book was one of them. But by the time I received this book, I wasn't really in the mood for it anymore. I still want to read it, but I wasn't like, oh, I want to read it this now, like I have to read it now, because I was in the middle of some series, I believe, and I really want to finish that series first before I read anything else. So I hold off, but as soon as I finished that series, I just wasn't really in the mood for it again. Every time I want to read something, I never actually picked it up. I just keep coming to another book and other books. And then I moved to Australia and I don't have this physically with me. And I don't want to buy this book physically again because I already have 2. And I don't want to buy the Kindle copy and everything. And also my change for my life basically just keep changing. I was originally only planning to come to Australia and live here for a year, and then I keep extending it, and now I'm on my 3rd year, so here I am. Which is why I have this list in the first place, my physical TBR, because I don't know when I will actually able to read those books physically. So I'm just gonna find the book somewhere else from my library or my Kindle or something, but I just don't want to buy another copy because I'm in the middle of a book buying ban. So I'm very, very glad that I managed to find this in my Perth Library. I actually found this book a couple of months ago, but I was reading Queen of Shadows, and I was like, okay, once I finish Queen of Shadows, I will back here again and borrow this book. But when I went back, it wasn't available, and it hasn't been available since. So I'm very happy it was available yesterday when I went there, because I really am in the mood for it, especially since I just saw it's becoming a series. There's a 2nd book coming out, or maybe it has come out, and imagine my surprise to find out that this book is now a series, because a lot of my standalone books now becoming a series. Like, why do they do that? Like, I hate that. But I mean, if the book is good, I don't mind that it's becoming a series, but there's also a clear case of a book just becoming a series because it's a hit and they want to keep like making money off of it, which is why I hate when that happens. But let's just hope the 2nd book will be as good, because I know I've heard a lot of great things about this book from a lot of people. I think there's also some controversy about this or the author or the story. I don't know what. I'm not really like keep up with all the news around the book community, so I don't really know what's going on, but I'm still really excited. I don't know what the book is about actually, but if I remember correctly, there's a romance story in it as well, an LGBTQ romance, and there's also something about it's magical realism, I think. Story about an orphanage full of children who actually have magical ability, but in this world, magic is seen as a strange and like bad behavior, as evil, as a bad thing. So all of the kids in this orphanage have trouble finding a foster home, being adopted. So actually, I'm just gonna read the back of it to find out more about what this book is about. Linus Baker is a by-the-book caseworker in a department in charge of magical youth. At 40, he lives in a tiny house with a devious cat and his old records for company. But his quiet life is about to change. Linus is summoned by extremely upper management and given a curious and highly classified assignment. Travel to an orphanage on a distant island and determine whether 6 dangerous magical children are so dangerous, in fact, that they're likely to bring about the end of days. When Linus arrives at that strangest of islands, he is greeted by a series of mysterious figures, the greatest mystery of which is Arthur Parnassus, the master of the orphanage. As Linus and Arthur grow closer, Linus discovers the master would do anything to keep the children safe, even if it means the world has to burn. Or worse, his secret comes to light. The House in the Cerulean Sea is an enchanting love story, masterfully told, about the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realizing that family is yours. That sounds very wholesome, actually, and I think that's the main word that a lot of people use. This story is wholesome, like gives you a cozy, warm feeling, and I'm in the mood for that. I'm in search for that feeling because I was very, very emotional in January. I read a lot of emotional books actually. Like a couple of them really hurts me, but in a good way. So I'm in a search for a more cozier books this month. So I hope this will bring me a lot of that, and I think it will. So yeah, that's the first book that I found from my local library based on my physical TBR, and the second book is based on my 2025 TBR. Like I said, I have 25 books on my 2025 TBR, and one of them is a book from Taylor Jenkins Reid that I haven't read, but specifically this one right here, Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've been wanting to read this book for so long. I love her writing so much. I love Daisy Jones and the Six. I love Malibu Rising. I love The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I also love her older books. That I think I've read one or two of them. I still haven't read all of her back catalog, which I really want to, but I just really want to read at least all of her like newer releases. And this one is, I think, the only one I haven't read. And I really want to read this now specifically because I know she will come out with another book this year, which I'm very excited about. But I just want to make sure that I like catch up on all her new releases before I read that one. So imagine my surprise when I found this book because I haven't been able to find this in my library for months. Every time I go to my library, I always look for this book. I always search for this, but it's never available. So when I found this, I was kind of like really excited because yeah, I've been wanting to read this and find this book there for so long. And I also really like this cover, by the way. This book, if you know nothing about it, it's actually about a tennis player who I think she's retired and then she decided to come back again and play again, and she wants to break some records or something like that. We've seen Carrie Soto, I think, once in Malibu Rising, if I'm not mistaken, which is so fun. And that's the one thing I think what I like about her books. A lot of the characters from her books sometimes make a guest appearance in another one, or you see a character from her books and then she become the main character for her next one. That actually happens a lot. I think specifically since The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo or Daisy Jones and the Six, because they are all kind of happens around the same area. They are all celebrities. They are all around LA or something, or around the same time period, like 70s, 60s, 80s, or something like that. Like Mick Riva, for example, which is one of the main character from Malibu Rising. Malibu Rising is about his kids, and Mick Riva made an appearance first in Daisy Jones and the Six, and Carrie Soto was one of the guests, if I'm not mistaken, on that party that the kids of Mick Riva had in Malibu Rising, which is so much fun. And that's also the reason why I want to read this book first before I read her next book, because what if the main character from that book, I think it's called Atmosphere, like what if the main character from Atmosphere actually made an appearance here first? So yeah, I want to make sure I read it first, even though I know I won't spoil anything by reading it, but it's just kind of nice to see like a glimpse of a backstory of the character of her next books here. I don't know if that character will be here or not, but just in case. And yeah, I think I'm right. Carrie Soto has retired from tennis. She is the best player the world has ever seen. She has shattered every record and claimed 20 Grand Slam titles. And if you ask Carrie, she's entitled to everyone. She sacrificed nearly everything to become the best, with her father Javier as her coach, a former champion himself. Javier has trained her since the age of 2, but 6 years after her retirement, Carrie finds herself sitting in the stands of the 1994 US Open, watching her record be taken from her by a brutal, stunning player named Nikki Chan. At 37 years old, Carrie makes the monumental decision to come out of retirement and be coached by her father for one last year in an attempt to reclaim her record, even if the sports media say that they never liked the battle axe anyway, even if her body doesn't move as fast as it used to, and even if it means swallowing her pride to train with the man she once almost opened her heart to, Bo Huntley. Like her, he has something to prove before he gives up the game forever. In spite of it all, Carrie Soto is back for one epic final season. In this riveting and unforgettable novel, Taylor Jenkins Reid tells her most vulnerable, emotional story yet. That's so exciting. I love sad, emotional, vulnerable stories. So if this will be that makes it so much more exciting. I mean, all of her book always managed to like tug on my heartstring and make me quite emotional. And if this is the most emotional yet, then I'm in for an interesting time and a sad time maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I'm super excited, and also excited to see that we finally move on to another era, another age, which is the 90s, because we have gone through from 60s, 70s, 80s. I think maybe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was around the 60s, 70s, right? Or something. And then Daisy Jones and the Six was in the 70s. Malibu Rising was in the 80s, or maybe around the same time, because Mick Riva was during Daisy Jones and the Six, and then it goes back and forth to the timeline of his kids, which is I think the 80s. And in that book, if I'm not mistaken, Carrie Soto is like on her peak of her career, if I'm not mistaken, or just get into retirement. And then this book will be in the 90s, so I'm very excited to see if her next book, Atmosphere, will be in the 2000s maybe. Oh, so excited, yeah. From my 2025 TBR. So yeah, for the next one is based on my new releases list from the month of February 2025, and I'm gonna look it up first. I actually have 3 books on my list of anticipated releases on February 2025, which is Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood, The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy, and Sight and Sparrow by Brian Weaver, which I think I won't be using that wheel generator because I don't even have to choose. I only have one book that I can read based on this list, which is Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood, because the other 2 are part of a series, which is the third book from their respective series, if I'm not mistaken. The Charlie Method is the third book from the Campus Diary series. It's like a spin-off series of Campus series, which I love. The first book was about the daughter of Garrett Graham, which is the main character from the first book of the Off-Campus series. I don't know if the second and third book will have something to do with the Off-Campus characters, but I think or maybe it's just they exist in the same house, campus, or whatever. I don't know, because I haven't read any of the books and I really want to. I think I also put this series in my yearly TBR, if I'm not mistaken, but I know I put the first book in my 2024 TBR, but I wasn't able to get to it in time. And yeah, I don't know when I will be reading the first one. I've heard a lot of good things about this series in general, so I'm super excited, but I just know I won't be able to read the first book and this book this month, so I'm not gonna force myself to read this series. So I'm gonna put this for another month in the future once I read the first book at least. And the other one, Scythe and Sparrow, is the third book from the Ruinous Love trilogy. Well, I'm glad it's at least it's a trilogy, not gonna be like a long series by Brian Weaver. And yeah, this is the third book. The first one was Butcher and Blackbird. I've heard a lot of great things about that. The second one, a little bit more polarizing, but yeah, I haven't read any of them. I really want to, but I wasn't able to last year. So maybe in a couple of months, I will be coming back to this list and read this whole entire series. And that left me with Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. And if I manage to read this book this month, it will be the very first book from her that I read ever, because I haven't read any of her books before. I don't know why I keep putting it off and putting it off, and she come out with books quite a lot, quite often. So yeah, I really want to read Bright as well, and obviously The Love Hypothesis. I have that in my physical TBR as well, so maybe I will read that book in the future. But yeah, I have no option but to put this book in here. Not that I'm not excited, I am excited because it's in my most anticipated releases, but I'm not that excited for this to become my first book from her that I read. So I don't know, but I will try. I mean, I don't even know what this book is about, to be quite honest, so I'm just gonna look it up and read the synopsis. It's about a competitive diver and an ace swimmer jump into forbidden waters in this steamy college romance from the New York Times bestselling author of Love Hypothesis. Scarlett Vandermeer is swimming upstream, a junior at Stanford and a student athlete who specializes in platform diving. Scarlett prefers to keep her head down, concentrating on getting into med school and on recovering from the injury that almost ended her career. She has no time for relationships, at least that's what she tells herself. Swim captain, world champion, all-around aquatics golden boy Lucas Blomqvist thrives on discipline. It's how he wins gold medals and breaks records. Complete focus with every stroke. On the surface, Lucas and Scarlett have nothing in common, until a well-guarded secret slips out and everything changes. So they start an arrangement, and as the pressure leading to the Olympics heats up, so does their relationship. It was supposed to be just a temporary, mutually satisfying fling. But when staying away from Lucas becomes impossible, Scarlett realizes that her heart might be treading into dangerous water. That actually sounds interesting. That makes me more excited now to read it. I think it will be another amazing book from her. So yeah, that's the third book. So the fourth one is based on my Kindle Unlimited list. I still have, I think, 18 books on there, or maybe 19 actually. Wait, how many? I actually have 19 books left. Not because I read my Kindle Unlimited books last month. By the way, I will post my January wrap up in a couple of days. In that video, I told you that I only managed to read 3 books from out of the 5 that I have on my January TBR, and I didn't manage to read the book from my Kindle Unlimited, which was Quicksilver by Kelly Hart, because I wasn't really in the mood for a fantasy book in January, so I skipped it. I didn't want to force myself to read something I'm not in the mood for, in risking me hating the book, because I was just not in the right mood for it. So I decided to skip it, but I managed to read another book from my Kindle Unlimited, because apparently I have The Vanishing Stair on my Kindle Unlimited already, even though that book was chosen through my physical TBR list. So it was like 1 book for 2 lists, so which was amazing. So I managed to at least cut 1 book from this list, but I still have 19 more. So I'm just gonna choose them using the random wheel generator again. I used the one from the pickerwheel.com, by the way. So I have 19. I'm still gonna put Quicksilver, who knows, maybe it will be the winner again or something. So I have Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. I also have Noir Moon by Elliot Rose. I also have Beautiful Fiend by Lola King. Beautiful Fiend by Lola King. I also have Foxglove, Thorn, Chiron, and Raven by Elliot Rose. It's a spin-off or a sequel to the book I have read last year. And Noir Moon is actually, oh no, I think Foxglove is a sequel from a series and Noir Moon is the prequel from a series, but both of these series are actually exist within the same universe. You see a lot of the character from Noir Moon in the Foxglove series already. I forgot the name of the book, but it's those characters, Foxglove and Chiron and everything. And we also have King of Greed by Anna Huang, which is the third book from the Kings of Sin. Oh no, what is that? King series, Kingmakers. Wait, what is the series called? You know that series. You also have 1,000 Broken Pieces by Tilly Cole, which is a second book after 1,000 Boy Kisses, which was one of the saddest book I've ever read. I love that book a lot. And oh, we also have the Graham Effect here, so maybe I will be reading this month, who knows. By L. Kennedy. We also have Things We Hide from the Light. Oh, Things We Hide from Light, anyway. By Lucy Score. We also have Tempt Me by K.A. Tucker. Tempt Me by K.A. Tucker. We also have The Frat Boy. What's with my typing ability? By Nikki Sloan. It's the fourth book, I think, from this series, the Nashville Neighborhood series. By the way, it's very hot, oh my god. We also have Head in the Game, and then The Words, The Ritual by Chantal Tessier. We also have Something in the Way. Oh my god, I'm sweating like crazy. What is... Oh, it's so hot. We also have Sickle, and then Long Shot. I have this book here since forever. I don't know how long it's been. I also have Indigo Ridge. Brutal Prince, again, it's been sitting there forever. And then God of Pain, the second book by Rina Kent. I think I should keep this open, this page, because I don't want to keep like typing everything every time I want to use this wheel. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep it open from now on. Anyway, yeah, we have 19 books there, and just gonna hit what? I'm just gonna hit spin. I hope it's a book I'm gonna be in the mood for, because I really wanna start chopping down the books on this list. What is that? Ooh, The Words. The Words by A. Jade. I hope I'm gonna be in the mood for this. I'm excited because I've been wanting to read this for so long. Obviously, I think it's a bully romance. They were friends and they were close when they were in high school, and then the main male character become a very famous singer in a band or something, and then he's struggling with drugs. One of the condition is to have, I don't know what it's called, but he has to have someone to kind of anchor him into sobriety, I think, and no one was able to get through him but our main female character. So I think his manager asked her to come into his life and kind of save him or whatever. But they were originally an enemy and then best friends, and then I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but I remember that it was supposed to be a bully romance or not. I don't know, but it's supposed to be a little bit darker romance, or maybe light dark romance. But who knows? I will find out once I read it. I'm super excited, but I'm also kind of scared. I've always been scared with this book because it's a romance story, but it's a very thick one. It has more than 600 pages. I mean, now I've read thicker romance books because nowadays a lot of romance just become thicker and thicker. I don't know why. It's usually only 300 to 400 pages, and nowadays there are a lot of romance books that has 500, 600 pages, which I don't know why. I mean, if it's good, then it's good. But yeah, this one always kind of scared me because of how thick it is, but hopefully this month I will be able to get to it. Yeah, that's it. I'm excited but also scared. Next is for my audiobook. I actually have a couple of books in mind. I put a hold on a couple of audiobooks on my Libby, but I also have one book on my Everend account already downloaded, so I don't know which one I will actually read in February. I'm currently listening to The Crescent City, the graphic audio, which is so exciting. It's my first graphic audiobook and I'm loving it so far. It's my reread actually because I've read the first book of the Crescent City series years ago, and it's actually the book that kind of made me re-fall in love with reading again. It will always have a special place in my heart, and I really want to continue on read the second and third book from this series this year because I haven't, and I kind of already forgotten the details of the first book, like the minor details, because it's been so long. I read this book, I think in 2021, in February 2021, and it's been a while, so I kind of want to refresh myself, but I don't really want to commit into reading the physical book or like Kindle version of it again because it's a long book, and I know the first half of the book is kind of slow. So I was trying to find the audiobook for it on my Libby, and then I found out that they have the graphic audio, which makes me even more excited to do a reread of this book because I've heard a lot of great things about graphic audiobook, and I haven't read anything graphic audio. So I'm currently listening to the part 1 because they actually chopped it off into 2 parts. I have both of them on my Libby account, thank God, because I don't want to wait to read the second part. And yeah, I'm currently 70% in on the part 1, so I know for sure I will read the part 2 in February, so I will put that on my audiobook list. But I also want to add another book, and by the way, I'm currently trying to film a reading vlog for the Crescent City, so if you wanna watch that, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I want to make a lot of reading vlog this year, so if you want to see that, subscribe. But yeah, I want to put that in my audiobook list. But I think I also want to put another book that I potentially will have available for me in February. I'm currently put a hold on The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I've been wanting to read this book for so long. I still have 2 weeks of wait, but it can potentially be faster than that. So yeah, for my audiobook list, I have Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood graphic audio part 2, and I also have Riley Sager, The Only One Left. I don't know what that book is about, but all I know is it's a mystery thriller. That's it. That's 5 or 6 books that I have on my favorite TBR. I hope you like this video. I really like the prompt that I have and the way I chose the books for this month. It's kind of exciting to use a few different methods to choose my TBR. I don't know what I'm gonna do for next month, but I'm super excited for all the books that I have on my favorite TBR. It's basically a lot of the books that I've been wanting to read for years and years and years. So I'm excited to finally, hopefully, read all of it. But if I can at least read 3 of them, I will be very happy. Like January, I read only 3 out of the 5. So I hope I can do at least 3 or maybe even more than that. And also, please let me know, leave a comment down below. What's your favorite TBR? What the book you're most excited to read this month? And if you have any suggestion about how to choose my TBR, let me know. I'm open for suggestion. And also, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time being here. I know I've been very bad with like the timing and everything with posting the last TBR, but hopefully moving forward, I will be more on time and up to date and keep up with my uploading better and better in the month moving forward. So yeah, I'm super excited. If you want to see more of this kind of video or my reading